guess everyone's here right now. Yeah, good to see everyone in Sunday afternoon. It's hopefully a great day for you all, you guys.
Recording in
Um,
progress.
good afternoon for every one of you. If you're students, if you're a parent, if you're a teacher, if you're just anyone who come across our university fair, welcome. Selamat datang, selamat siang semuanya. Today we are in the second day of our All-In Global University Fair, and I will be sharing about the journey to your major decision. So yeah, if you have registered and you come across this title and it attracts you, I hope you will have a good session for the coming 45 minutes to an hour ish. And yeah, hope you guys will be helped with the information I shared as well in this Global University Fair. And I think while we're also waiting for the other participants to come, I would like to welcome you on behalf of All In. So if you missed our first day, yesterday, I would like to have a quick introduction of who All In is. So we are an independent university consultant. We work with grade 7 to 12 students across Indonesia, and we help you guys to get into your dream universities, not just because of the name or like the because you have to, but also to help you reach your dream career, right? And we will talk more about that actually in more in a deeper sense. How can you actually get a picture of what your dream career is and how to achieve that. And in All In, we have quite some flagship programs. We help the students through our admission mentoring program, which is personalized mentoring to help students identify what are lacking in their profile and how we can help them to get into their best fit major and also university, as well as to establish their future career path. And and not only that, we also believe that teamwork makes the dream work. If you still remember the topic that we also bring up earlier this year, we believe that if we get together with other people as well, it would really bring good understanding for the students. So we make this career exploration programs. Recently, we just have a community service program as well. We believe that with working with multiple partners, multiple institutions, or even communities, we can give an experience that replicate or simulate the career experience for the students through the summer programs, career boot camps, other things that we provide for the students, as well as some additional guidance on academics, including test preps, subjects tutoring, SAD, SAB, and also writing skills. So I think before I go into our topic today, hopefully this um, I have a video that would probably help every one of you to get a more better understanding of who All In is. And here we go. Okay, let me check if everyone has seen the video. Okay, one second. Right, since I will load the video in a bit and see. Okay, thank you so much, Teresia.
The idea started when we were preparing for our university applications back in high school. At that time, there were no agencies or institutions that could accommodate the admission process to top universities abroad. School counselors, proper SAT courses, or other university preparation mentoring programs specifically for universities with competitive acceptance rates were also unavailable to help students. At that time, it forced us to write our own essays, CV, and practice the interview for the universities by ourselves, with support from fellow friends, not professionals. Without proper guidance, the application process seemed so complicated to us. Even our friends and relatives somehow lost their determination to get into top universities, scared to dream big. All in EduSpace is here to be the pioneer of students' educational journey, empowering students to reach their aspirations by opening access to top quality learning, education opportunities abroad, such that they can lead an impactful life in their role as a member of their community. We also aspire to be the role model of student-focused informal education platform in Asia.
As we help students apply to universities, we also empower them to always dare to dream, because their dream is unlimited. We wish students to have the attitude to take their own future, whether it is to study abroad, get into top universities, or figure out their major that will lead to their own successful career path and future. Along with the spirit to dream, we also push them to put their best work in their university application preparations because it's all in the prep. If the students work harder, we're willing to work even harder. Apart from delivering tailored mentoring curriculum to each student, we constantly strive to give all-around university prep by providing personal development guidance such as developing leadership, communications, critical thinking, and analytical skills in order to open the doors to world-class education abroad. Our mentors are graduates of world's top universities with various academic backgrounds and work experiences. These diverse backgrounds help us to achieve a shared vision to empower our students with the real-world skills needed and an extensive network to achieve their dreams beyond college.
To achieve our vision and our mentees' goals and dreams, we go all in through our 4 pillars: academic performance improvement, exploration and profile building, personal branding, and soft skills development. We don't believe in the one-size-fits-all principle when it comes to education. Therefore, we provide tailored guidance for each student's needs with our admission mentoring, academic tutoring, and standardized test prep programs.
We not only focus on students' academic success, but we also help students to explore their dream career paths, equipping them with the industry skills that they need to thrive while also foster an awareness of the impact they could have on the community. Our mentors provide insights on the skills, experiences, and industry knowledge students need beyond their academic pursuit through coaching sessions. We help students confirm their interest, establish career goals, and find the right university major for them through career bootcamps, work and community empowerment programs, interest-based student clubs or projects, competitions, and many more.
We have successfully guided hundreds of our mentees to their dream universities, with 100% of them accepted to more than 350 top universities in the world, including in the US, Canada, UK and other European countries, Asia, and Australia.
In the end, we aspire to be the top of the mind space for students to explore the kinds of education that they couldn't get through school or formal institutions.
Therefore, our name represents the purpose to serve students' needs all in one place,
All
all
in
in
EduSpace.
EduSpace.
Hey, thank you so much, Teresia. Sorry for the glitch. And I'll go back to our presentation. All right. So looking back at what is shown you in the our introduction video, we believe in four aspects of top university preparation, including these things shown on the screen. Starting from your academic performance, we believe that having a good performance at school with your grades definitely will make an impact on your university admission, and that alone, however, is not enough because you need to support that with enough exploration and profile building as well, which is to help you understand what to pursue in the future and therefore also help you to determine your major. So, which is exactly what we're gonna be talking today. And before writing skills, we also have the personal brand, which is the memorable aspect that you will present to the admission officers, which really shows who you are as a person. And without a proper writing skills, all those things will actually not be represented in your application. So all these four pillars definitely will help you to create a complete admission package and also give you a higher chance to get into top university. But not only that, but also to help you get into your dream career. Okay, so yeah, I think just a quick introduction. If you don't know me yet, my name is Sharon. I'm a mentor in the space, and I will be talking more today about the exploration part that we showed previously, and some questions that followed your major decision, and then I will be also highlighting one of the aspects that usually people don't really put in attention too much, which is the subject choices, how to get those right, and finally how to get into um, the so-called correct major. I will also like see uh, what does that actually mean in the next slides, and also I would be happy to address some more questions and also share to your upcoming programs. And but basically, we will start with some main questions, maybe some burning questions, right? If you are here and then you have asked these questions so far during your high school years, like how to choose a major. Is it really does it really matter? Like what major do I pick? How important is my decision towards my next life, or maybe what the next path that I would take, and when actually should I start thinking about it? If I'm still in grade 9 or 10, is it too early to actually think about the major or the university life? Well, usually those questions revolve around these three things, right? If you're a high school student, you seem like your first major or big decision is to pick your major, right? And then to get into the best fit university, and finally to get into your future goals. However, do you actually realize that the journey starts quite early? As we are picking the school subjects, as we are actually, determining what subjects to take at school. That's the first part or the first step in this exploration, in this journey, to understand what you will be doing in the future, and that actually starts pretty early. So maybe you're wondering, like, why is that such a big major, and how would I supposed to approach it, right? So how to get this right? Now you probably have been thinking about, yes, indeed, like taking my IB subjects or my A level subjects is important, but why? And here, I directly gather information from different universities. This one happened to be coming from University of Oxford, one of the household name in the UK universities. And you can see over here, um, the A levels score. They mention A star, AA, including chemistry, sciences, math, and the A star must be in math. Very specific. So the same thing also happens with other STEM majors such as computer science, where they mention, the subjects they require. It's very straightforward. If you are not taking these classes, if when you're taking A levels, then very thin chance, very slim chance that you will get admitted. As well as if you're doing IB, you know your minimum score and also their required subjects to take. There is HL chemistry, other sciences, other math in HL or SL level. Okay, this doesn't only happen if you're taking the STEM route. It also valid. It's also valid for the social sciences cluster, where I'm taking here from UCL. They also similar to the previous explanation. Actually, you are required to have quite some certain standard, which is pretty high for these top universities. Their grades level are pretty high. Their subjects are pretty rigorous, and also they are very detailed and specific. So what we can see here from just these two universities, which is actually pretty specific, coming from the UK, they require you to have two things, which is a good grade and also subjects that correlates directly to your major. Now the question would be, okay, I'll probably, not interested in studying in the UK. I'm probably more towards US, who probably give me more flexibility, who gives me more chances. So that means I can basically think about any subject that I want. Am I right? Well, kinda, because when you look at this is what I take from Harvard College, the undergrads liberal arts institution of Harvard University. They indeed, if you're comparing this with the previous slides, they will not give you very specific subjects that you need to take. However, they will require you some, standard curriculum that you would like to take, right? So here you have English, you have 4 years of single foreign language. You have history, you have math, you have a balance of sciences and natural and social sciences. So that kind of combination is actually something that you cannot ignore, right? And you have to make sure that actually all of these are fulfilled in your curriculum. So what are the tips, or like how should we approach this, very different requirements from different universities, even before you determine like what university you want to pick? Okay, so things to reflect. You can ask yourself first these type of questions, especially for those of you who haven't actually uh, picked your subjects, chosen your subjects or courses. What type of learning do you enjoy more? I think this is also valid for those of you who are considering, whether to take A levels, whether to take IB, whether to take AP. What kind of learning situation that you enjoy more? Is it more exam based, or you enjoy getting yourself into different projects? Number two, what subjects do you actually enjoy? Pretty straightforward, but sometimes students cannot also identify this because they're too stressed, they are too intimidated with the teachers, with the scores. But given the topic itself, like what subjects do you actually enjoy and what subjects are you good at, looking at your previous track records? Yeah, so make a list of all the subjects you want to do that motivates you and then narrow it down. One thing to note though, you also want to have a balance, between the challenges and also the motivation that it gives you when you're studying something. So one, of course, looking at how well you have done in terms of the subjects in past classes to help determine what level you're at. Um, Not too easy. That's something too easy, which makes you very probably you kind of underestimate the subject, and therefore you don't have motivation, but also not to push yourself too hard until you spend too much time and energy on just that subject, and it might also hurt your scores, right? Just one talking about these balances and also all these different subjects to pick. I probably know some of you are watching today. You're coming from maybe Indonesian national curriculum or other curriculum that doesn't really allow you to, happily or like very flexibly pick your subjects. Actually, the similar strategy also applies when it's still very important for you to help identify what subjects do you write, and also to find the balance between like how much time you allocate for the subjects that you really want to focus on and make sure you get good grades in, versus the ones that you can try as much as hard as you can. Try, of course, to pass the standard of graduation, but also you know that you are not going to focus on this, and probably it might sit on the lower part of your priority list, right? So that's a bit of subject choices. That means in the bigger picture, again, you have this one step even before the whole journey or the whole period where you actually need to really determine what major you want to go. School subject selection makes a big difference. All right. Now we're talking about the main thing here. What should I major in? Actually, okay, I've done my subject choices. Or probably some of you think like, oh, I still have 2 years before I need to pick my subjects. So am I just, spend my time happily, watching YouTube, TikTok and stuff like that? Or should I think about the journey itself? Well, speaking of the journey, I think this is why we want to also provide this kind of local university fair for all of you, to give as much as information for you to see and compare. Because actually, the journey of picking major decision or like picking the majors somehow kind of like when you want to hike. Yeah, probably if you're comparing these two pictures, right? Both people, both groups are hiking a mountain, but they are completely different in terms of their environment and therefore in the equipment that they want to take. So if you're someone who are in the first situation at the left hand side, what kind of equipments do you need, right? So you want to know, oh, okay, the mountain looks like this, the average temperature is this much, so I need to go to the store, pick the correct rucksack, to pick the correct, sneakers to go with, pick the right hat to go with, right? But then versus the ones if you want to go to a snowy area, okay, you probably want to go, find the most lightweight jacket, to go with you, boots, probably sticks, so on and so forth, right? So picking the whole, the process of like having these picking your major decision really have to be planned early, and you have to explore, right? You have to explore and compare, okay, this kind of equipment or this kind of necessities are the ones that I need to bring, or I probably need to focus more on this part rather than the other part. Yeah, so you have one, you are about to explore on something, so you don't keep just a tunnel vision towards something. And second one, majors are just the vehicles for you to like get into your dream career or the peak of the mountain itself, right? You're not spending so much time on the store to pick your rucksacks, your jacket, and so on and so forth, but not spending time to hike the journey itself, right? To get into the peak. So if you think about this analogy, think of like the majors as like your vehicle, your tools to get into the peak or your future goals, right? So if that being said, what should I do in each part of the way during my high school years? For those of you who are in early high school, grade 9 to 10, um, try everything, almost everything. So if this resounds to you as the song from Zootopia. That's why I put the slot over there. But basically, this is indeed the time where you need to try everything, list down the things and topics that you like or you want to know, you're curious in. Try different organizations, summer classes, online courses. If your school have some community service opportunities, try to check it out, right? However, you also need to finally get into the shortlist by the time you're in late grade 10, right? Reflect and shortlist 2 to 3 areas to focus on, and also remember to examine the differences of universities among different countries for your university prep, right? So again, this is the time where you can pick different choices, not to be just too focused on something, but also remember to reflect and shortlist. Yeah, so this is just a bird's eye view of different requirements among countries. Coming up next, we will have different sessions from different countries, and you can see that they also need different requirements, and therefore you need different time period to prepare all of this, right? So by checking out different countries and what they need, you will have more picture. Will have more information on what to prepare beforehand. Now, if you're looking at grade 11, again, this one is as they have a different priority as compared to early high school years, right? Because this is where you want to advance your skills, right? Take a deeper dive. If once you take you like math, you like quantitative skills, you want to first take the highest rigor of classes, right? Or maybe even if you have a good skills in math, you want to maybe try out some competitions or work experience or internship. Utilize your math abilities to do some community service, whether it's teaching, whether it's making data analysis of something, so on and so forth, right? And then gain leadership experience through personal projects, which we will actually look at in a minute. Um, but yeah, looking at this, you see that there's some differences between early high school years versus the grade 11 one. Okay, so for university prep as well, you might see just a little bit of addition. So besides comparing different sources, different countries, you also want to research on different majors, requirements, tasks, portfolios, anything that probably will be needed in your admission process. Okay, so let's go take a look at some examples. Okay, so this is one of our mentees projects. Let's see if you have more ideas about it.
Hi, my name is Vincent. I'm a grade 11 student at Bina Bangsa and I created UVinci. So, why I created UVinci? So, traditionally, people wipe down the door handles individually using disinfectants that may contain harmful chemicals that could damage the door handles, and it is also very time consuming. So, I created this device. This device automatically disinfects the door handle after every single touch. This device uses two LEDs which shines UVC rays to disinfect the door handles. This device uses a passive infrared motion sensor to detect when a door handle has been touched. Then, after a 7-second delay, it shines UVC rays for 3 seconds from its two UVC LEDs, killing viruses and bacteria on the surface of the door handle. Another feature of the device is that it is rechargeable. It uses a latch which allows you to remove the device from the door to be recharged. For further information, you can visit UVinci's Instagram page at UVinciTech, or you could contact me at vincentongo@gmail.com. Thank you.
Okay, that's one of the personal project. Let me show you another example before we move on. a bit before we move on to the next points. If you see from those two videos, they're actually, the one from Vincent is the form of one of their personal project where you have gained all the experience, all the knowledge, and then you try to create something, product out of your knowledge and research. And from the other one, it's the last program that we have, which is the community empowerment program, where you are actually, utilizing your abilities and basic skills to help the local residents or help the local people to empower their community. So those kind of things is something that you probably want to try by the end, probably around grade 10 or grade 11, somewhere before you are focusing on your university prep. All right. So, and then the last grade. I'm assuming also there's quite a number of grade 12 students, or if you're a parent of a grade 12 student, maybe you notice a difference in the size of the box that I show you here, comparing the profile building part and the university prep part. Because at this time, it's actually indeed the time where you need to focus on your university prep. Did you know that actually most of the universities, especially abroad universities like US, UK, even some Asian countries, their deadlines is actually in the first semester of grade 12. So it's actually this later half of the year, right? This is your time to get focused, on your applications, strategize them. But also don't forget to also improve or then maintain your grades, because this is basically like the last chance for you to have a good academic performance, which is definitely something that, as we have talked about before, it's something that the university will really look on, right? By strategizing your applications, such as giving yourself some time to shortlist some final university list, craft your story, have some brainstorming um, about like who you are as a person, and also what you want to achieve in the future. You want to present yourself well in your application package, and also don't forget to arrange your deadlines. Yeah, because this is sometimes what you miss. If you've been too busy, and then you didn't know next week is the time for submit the application for university A, and the next week is for university B. Time rolls, and you probably can forget about that. And even you have to allocate some time for some universities that require you to take another test specifically for admission, right? So all of these, I think for parents and teachers as well, if you're here, these might be the things that you want to help students to remind and get more focus in, right? At the same time, for in terms of profile building, yes, you may have some last minute, profile building steps, but also don't forget to reflect on your previous experiences. Because sometimes when people get busy, you've been doing so much stuff, maybe projects, maybe you have been in a club for so long, you probably a bit forget of like why you apply to this, why am I doing this. Sometimes it's just if you own like a windbreaker for so long, and then you really don't remember anymore like what's the real function of it. So you want to reflect on your previous any special courses that you want to take in the university that requires um, yeah, that requires a certain experience, or maybe you want to think more carefully about the career path after college, right? So this time is a great time actually to stop, get yourself too busy, but more into focusing yourself on university prep. Let's get down to some examples so that I can summarize all the grade 9 till grade 12 examples over here. Let's go to the first case study. This student, male student, we have this experience before. He doesn't know what to major in. He's grade 10 in an IB school, going to grade 11, and that means he's about to pick the subjects, and one of his study destination is Singapore. So what steps that we can suggest to this person. Now, I wish we can have more interactions. I'm inviting everyone actually to also put your comments on the chat. But basically, looking at what we have looked at before. First of all, looking at the differences or the requirements, especially here for Singapore universities. And when we know what they really value, we know that actually they put a quite of emphasis in academics and also personal achievements, and therefore this affect the subject selection, which means that he has to take some balanced high school courses because he's still not sure like what area he wants to major in, right? But also considering that they are very um, concerned about their academics, you want to take you know as rigorous as possible for your math. Probably take an HL level if you are about if you think you're capable for it, and also pick like one of the sciences, both social and natural sciences, to go with, so that you have a bit of a well-roundedness in that area, but also um, you're not leaving out you're not leaving out some of the subjects that might be needed, right? And how to determine so what SL subjects or HL subjects prioritize the ones that you can get good grades in, because at the end of the day they will look at your grades besides anything else, right? And accelerate your exploration, because by the end of grade 10 it should be you probably is a bit behind in terms of your planning, but again there's no we cannot say that it's late. What you can do is definitely accelerate your exploration, so join summer programs that gives you an array of different activities and determine which one that you want to focus in. And then also I think what we did with the student is we still keep equipping him with the most sought after skills, such as coding, communication skills, teamwork. Make the students get along, maybe into some team competitions, because again personal achievements have quite a big position in Singapore universities. Okay, so this person finally go into something more towards engineering part. So if you're someone who probably is also thinking about engineering, but you're a bit unsure about like what engineering should I take, or like what should I equip myself to go with engineering degree, right? You can see over here some school subjects that are required, and also some possible interest areas that can match with a general engineering, and some of the skills that are required, including some soft skills such as problem solving and communication, and also some hard skills or like very specific technical skills that you can start trying out, maybe MATLAB, maybe AutoCAD, depending on like what areas that you want to be more focused in. Yeah, and also some of the possible majors included here, right? So in this case, if you are the same as the previous student that I mentioned, these are some like guidance of what you can do, of what you can, start looking at right now. And actually, you also might want to look at the future career path. As you remember previously for grade 9 and grade 10, because there are still a lot of different choices available for you. You also want to make sure, or you want to know a bit about like what's coming next, right? So in this case, if you're talking about engineering, one possible future career path that you can take is process control engineering, or process control engineer that actually correlates more about mechanical engineering or chemical engineering. Uh, if you're looking for from this chart, I take this from Singapore Chemical Industry Council. Yeah, the linear career path looks like the gray area over here, um, where you are focusing on processes, how to make processes more efficient, but also you can actually expand your opportunities into supply chain, sales, marketing, operations, becoming a project manager. So you can probably like have some pictures on like what other complementing skills besides just math, physics. That's it. So these are the things that could help you not only about choosing the majors only, but to equip you until your future goals and career path. The second case study, I think this one is also pretty relatable for some of you. I think a bit different from the first case study because for this one, happens to be a girl. She is interested in medicine at first, but she shifted to something more related to biology only. So not she will avoid medicine because of the extensive time commitment, but she still wants to do something related to biology. And looking at her grades, this is also a bit different. She's basically a straight A student. So biology, chemistry, physics, everything is great. She joined numerous math and physics competition. So somehow the student is very well rounded, and therefore she has some considerations on whether or not should she take pure biology. Again, yes, probably because so that means I would not use my previous math, physics related stuff. Maybe not that much, right? So this happens usually. Well-rounded students, you probably have good grades, but you're not really sure like what things that you're interested in actually. So what we do with the student is we help her to find a major that combines biology and quantitative skills. Um, After some talks to professionals, we look at different major syllabus, we look at different career paths. We find out biomedical engineering might be a good choice, right? And then we also want to get the student into something that is not given at school, which is more experience in research paper, in research area, and also help her to establish her student organization on biology or sciences, which she hasn't ever done before, right? And using that framework as what I wanted, just want to share again is just a combination in biomedical engineering that they are utilizing so much. It's an interdisciplinary study where they combine chemistry, physics, engineering, biology, maybe some of computer science as well. So this degree is very rigorous. You can put it into one of your candidate majors if you are quite advanced, and also taken from NUS over here. Even if you are studying biomedical engineering with different electives, you are aiming for different career goals, right? So again, these things are probably the things that you want to look at in your exploration, in your journey to finally get into your decision of your major. So that being said, what is actually the keys to journey for a major decision, right? What you want to do first is definitely to go for balanced school subjects, right? And maintaining your grades. Balanced means you push yourself to a limit where you can show your capabilities and always being challenged out of your comfort zone, but you're also making sure that you can maintain your performance. Number two, you do a broad and in-depth exploration or activities throughout your high school years, starting from something more broader, and then you finally shortlist some of the topics and get more in-depth. And then that will definitely help you to find your best fit major and university, looking at the syllabus, looking at the flexibility, looking at the university requirements, and finally, it will help you to get into your future goals and career. All right, so that's actually all of what I want to present today. I'm welcoming everyone to have some questions, and I would be happy to address. And in the meantime, I guess I would also remind everyone to join our next session, which is the panel talk given by University of Glasgow and University of Sydney. I think on the chat room we will share the link as well, or you can access from YouTube, from Instagram. We will have also another session and then announce everything. I think everyone have been waiting for this, the one-on-one profile review with the former admission officer from UC Berkeley, right? So while we're waiting for the questions, I think I would be thrilled to know what you think about what I'm sharing, what we have been sharing these 2 days as well. You can just scan this QR code or go to the link that is shared, I think, on the chat. Yep. So you can just so if you're on the Zoom chat, you can easily click the link. If you are watching from other media, other streaming channels, you can just scan and then give us some shout out, some questions, some other topics that you want to also hear from us. I see. Okay, so yeah, while we're waiting for more questions, or if you want to like put your feedback in, I would just like to share with you some our upcoming programs. I think we have around two series. The first one is the Academic Tutoring Foundation Week. We're calling all L-level and IB students, yeah, who are just getting into the new academic year to study, different subjects, and you can get a free academic tutoring session. Who wants? I mean, everyone loves freebies, right? And again, this academic tutoring foundation week is also a free program. So you can try out different subjects. Again, limited spots are available. You can just go contact us or just go to our website to register. And I hope this can also, again, since we're talking more about subjects today, it will help you to give more preparation even before you go into the new curriculum. Okay. And for a more intense, maybe that's a bit scary, but then anyways, as you look at all the university requirements and stuff, I think you will need some time to have some time to really concentrate on what actually university wants to look from you. So we will have a series of university application boot camps ranging from Ivy Leagues next month in August, followed by Oxbridge, Oxford, and Cambridge, University of California series, and Asian universities boot camp. Right. So it depends on like um, which destination that you want to go to, and even if you haven't really decided your mind on one, there are some bundle deals available. You can just contact us, and basically what we want to do is help you to kickstart your application requirement, to get it all in one place, right? So starting from knowing what the university is looking for, building your personal brand, how to create your CV, how to write your essay, um, how to actually ace your interview, some tips on scholarships, some sharing from the alumni, and yeah, you can also get your can discuss some questions with top universities admission officer, and those things would be definitely helpful for your preparation. All right, so I guess I will be going back, I think, to the feedback just in case you haven't um, take a look at it. And while I think keep the questions going, I think I have a question in the chat. Um, sorry. Okay, so for I have a question. Hi, I'm doing natural science in a school with national curriculum. My personal profile includes a lot of experiences in foreign languages, yet my interests are leaning towards social sciences such as econs or finance. Do you have any advice for me? Okay, so thank you for the question. This is such a great case study, I guess. Um, you have a curriculum that is more towards natural sciences, but your interest actually more towards languages, humanities, I guess, econs and finance. I think one thing that I would like to um, definitely ask is, oh, I mean, like if you're free to like give me more information, such as like what grade you're in right now. And also, have you decided on the country or the destination that you want to go? I think this too affects quite a lot because again, if you're right now still in, you're just about to start grade 11, then you still have quite some time to balance out. If you even if you're doing more natural sciences at school, but you can, have more activities, experiences outside of school that leans or like that aligns with your interest in econs, finance, or languages. But if you're right now in grade 12, then I think indeed you can strategize more from what country you're applying for. Because, okay, so that means if you don't have that much time, I think we can take a look at quite a different angle of it, which means you can aim for universities or countries systems that allows you to be more flexible and then assess you in a more holistic way. Having said that, definitely my first go-to would be looking at universities in the US who will be more welcoming in terms of the background of your subjects that you've taken, and then you have, if you explore here, you explore there, and then finally you decided to actually have quite a, maybe not so aligned major, which is totally fine for US universities, as long as you can explain what your story looks like. Or else you can also find some others. If US is probably too far from you or a bit too unfamiliar for you, maybe look at some universities that also adopt the similar flexible system as the US, but they are located maybe somewhere in Asia or Australia. So they aiming for a university that requires you, universities that give you more flexibility in their system, in their courses, would usually be more welcoming from students with multiple backgrounds like that. Okay, I think it's been time to move into the next session. I have just one question. Is that okay? I think just 1 or 2 more minutes because there's just one question. Does our essay for U.S. university have to necessarily relate to our major, or can it be our personal values? Okay, in a nutshell, it's the second one. It's more about your personal values, or more exactly, it would be about who you are as a person. They have other information about your academics, about your major related information through your other parts. So they will be more interested in knowing who you are. So that's why if you're looking at the prompts, they will ask you what's the biggest challenge you've ever got in your life, or like share the moment of growth that you've experienced um, before this. So um, I would say it tends to be more towards your personal values, but you also can, you know, tell people more about your major. Maybe in the questions like why you pick this major kind of essay, because there will be some supplementary essays about that. But in general, US or like Western essays are more welcoming, or like more they're more holistic, they're more rounded. They want to know more about your story. Okay, so I hope that helps. And I think it's time for the next speaker to come, the next session. I think it would be still in the same Zoom room. So I guess I would be meeting you in the next opportunity. If you still want to ask me more questions, or other mentors you want to meet, different mentors that we have, you can just connect to us through our Instagram, our websites, um, also from WhatsApp. Definitely just contact us and we will be happy to talk more with you, right? Okay, so I think that's pretty much all. Just gonna say hi to the next speaker. I will be handing this over to the next speaker, and thank you so much for listening. It's been too. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for sharing. And yeah, guys, before we move on to our next session and our last session, we're gonna have a 10-minute break, but you can stay in this room in the meantime. Thank you.
Mm.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome once again. And yeah, we're going to start our last session. And before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Angel, and I will be your host for today. And yeah, so in the previous session, we have talked about the journey, the not so simple journey for application, especially towards top universities abroad. And yeah, in this session, we're gonna talk directly with the universities, so we can get some kind of insider insights on the strategic roadmap to world's finest universities. But before that, I'm going to first introduce a little bit about All In. So, All In EduSpace is an independent university consultant, and in here in All In, we help students from grade 7 to grade 12 to get into their dream universities. And getting into your dream universities is just the first step towards your dream careers, and that's what we aim for here at All In. And a little bit of recap, and just to remind you guys, what we do here is we offer admission mentoring for students. We guide students for their application preparations, and also to explore their interests basically and build their profile. And aside from that, we help them to explore their careers through our programs as well. And lastly, we support students in advancing their academics with subject tutoring, SAT or ACT preps, and also IB writing classes. And yeah, just to remind you guys again, what we do here is that we help you in advancing your academic performance. We also help you guys explore your interests and what so that you choose your right major. And we also help you guys to build your personal brand so that your application can stand out for the admission mentoring for the admission officer, sorry. And lastly, we also help students in advancing their writing skills, especially for university application essays. So yeah, let's welcome our speakers for today. The first one we have is Mr. Alvin as the International Officer of University of Glasgow. Hi, Mr. Alvin. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And our second speaker for today is Mr. Rico as the Country Manager of University of Sydney. Hi.
Hi, Angel. How are you? Thank you so much for having both Alfie and me today in this session. We know one another. We are friends. So thank you for having us, both of us, here today.
Definitely. Great. So yeah, now that we get to know our speakers, let's just get into it. But before it, I'm just going to introduce a bit about both universities. So first, we have the University of Glasgow. So it's the fourth oldest university in the English-speaking world, and it's also ranked 73rd based on the QS World University Rankings 2022, and has been named Scottish University of the Year in the Times and the Sunday Times Good University Guide 2022 as well. And University of Glasgow is also the member of the prestigious Russell Group of leading UK research universities. And next, we have the University of Sydney. University of Sydney is Australia's first university and is ranked 38th in the based on the QS World University Ranking 2022, and it has given impact through the research and innovations. The University of Sydney is also the member of Group of Eight in Australia and highly regarded in terms of their graduate employability. So yeah, that's a brief about the universities that we're gonna look into today, but we're gonna talk more about them in the sessions. So for today's schedule, we're gonna look into the university admission process and requirements for both University of Glasgow and University of Sydney. And then we're gonna talk about how to make your application more strategic by boosting your personal statement and how to basically excel in your interviews. And then we're also going to talk about the education system and the program structure in both universities. And we're also going to look into how your university days are going to be like after you got accepted. So yeah, first, the university admission process and requirements. Yeah, so maybe first I'm gonna ask maybe from the University of Glasgow. Mr. Alvin, do you mind like explaining a bit to us like how is the admission process for the University of Glasgow?
Okay, thank you, Angelica. So you can hear my voice now?
Yes.
Okay, so basically we have the default intakes in September for most of the program, but we also have some program that will be start in January, and that's really dedicated for engineering stream only. But for the undergraduate level, will be start in September for all the program, which is all the student who has the international curriculum need to apply through what we call the system or the student portal UCAS. So that's a UCAS system that will be managing for the application through all the global to apply to University of Glasgow. Just making sure you need to notice about the deadline for each program, especially for the program that's under the medical, medicine, and life sciences. Not more than the from the October intakes each year. But most of the program you can just simply apply more than that, but not more than the January for each year. So I think the basically general rules how to apply to University of Glasgow. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, for those of you guys who want to apply to Glasgow, basically, they use the UCAS, which is like the main portal for most UK universities, right? And yeah, you also want to check out maybe the University of Glasgow's website as well for the deadlines for each major and programs. So, Mr. Alvin, like usually from the deadline of the application submission, how long does it take for the university to send out the first notification or the offer letter?
Okay. Well, this is a very sensitive question actually, because everybody will be waiting for the offer. Well, we will pull the application based on we not call the round, but the UCAS system will be just pulling all the application quite sometimes, and they will be give you sort of like the conditional offer probably around January or probably earliest in December, but probably the most time that student will get the offer probably in January. So that's about the time frame or the turnaround for the application from UCAS system. So the student will get some feedback about the application from the university chosen.
Okay, great. And is there some kind of system where it's like there's like an early decision or an early action like phase of the registration, or is it everything is like the same, like everything has the same deadline and the same dates for the offer letter?
For almost of the majority programs that accept the medical or medicine appliance life sciences, that can simply apply not before the January. But for the medical, medicine, and life sciences, just making sure you apply before the October for each year.
Yeah. Okay, so the difference is only for the different programs that you mentioned. Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Alvin. And now we're going to move to the University of Sydney. So yeah, Mr. Rico, do you mind explaining a bit about the application system to the University of Sydney?
Sure, thanks, Angel. So we mainly have two intakes per year. We call it semester 1 in February and semester 2 in July. Most courses will be available in both intakes. However, there are some courses like medicine program or architecture program for bachelor's degree. They are only available in February. So our main intake is still February, but a lot of courses also start in July. So students who don't want to have a gap semester, because Indonesian students, you usually finish your high school in May or June, you can always apply for our July intake. The application deadline will again depend on the course, because just like Glasgow, like medicine program will require you to submit application 1 year before the intake. So but for most courses, ideally, the application deadline is 3 months before the intake. So meaning to say, if you're applying for July intake, we suggest you to apply before the end of May, if possible. But the sooner you apply, the better. Application for international students, meaning to say these are students with international citizenship like Indonesia. They are non-permanent residents, non-citizenship of Australia and New Zealand. They can apply directly through our website, sydney.edu.au. There will be application fee, but the good news is any students who come from All-In Eduspace, we are going to waive the application fee as long as you complete the documents required. Meaning to say, you have to have the documents and you have to have the minimum entry requirements met. Then we are happy to waive the application fee for All-In students.
That's really great to hear, Mr. Rico. And yeah, since you also mentioned that all-in students have to meet the requirements, we're also going to talk about the requirements a bit later in the next slide. But now I also want to ask similar questions. Yeah, so how long does it usually take for the admission officers to release the offer letter?
So I think different with UCAS system, since you're applying directly to university, we have all the control directly to our admission process. So meaning to say, it really depends whether you're applying in a peak period or not. So peak period, what I'm trying to say is 3 months before the intake, that those are peak period, meaning to say it will take slower. But I usually, normally, the application will take only 4 to 8 weeks. So again, 4 weeks. Sometimes students get an offer within 3 weeks, for example. So these are during non-peak period, but during peak period, expect that you are going to get an offer within 4 to 8 weeks, because the admission is busy with all the applications and so on. So that's why we always suggest students to apply as soon as possible, so that you can get an offer as soon as possible also.
Yeah, definitely, because the earlier you apply, the earlier you can get the offer letter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, noted for that. Thank you. And yeah, so next we're just gonna talk directly about the general requirements to apply to Glasgow and the University of Sydney. So yeah, most universities do, both universities require your academic records and also transcripts. And for international students, it is also needed for you to have some kind of English proficiency test like TOEFL or IELTS. And the University of Glasgow requires you to submit a personal statement as per the application process in the UCAS. But for University of Sydney, the personal statement or statement of motivation is optional, and we're gonna talk about that later. And for both universities, interviews are also optional. For Sydney, especially, it is usually for the MBA and the Master Management. And as for the letter of recommendation, usually university like University of Glasgow and University of Sydney requires it for the postgraduate or PhD programs. So first, we're just gonna look into more details and for the University of Glasgow. So yeah, first I would have to ask, like, is there any hard minimum on the students' grades to get into Glasgow?
Okay, thank you, Angel. It's really depend with the bachelor degree or program that the student want to apply. But basically, we have the standard. Normally, for the international student, if we look at from the A level, then we minimum to be required the students to have at least E, a double A, and B, or probably a triple A. For the medical specialization or programs, the requirement will be higher. I'm sure that will be applied to University of Sydney and also the University in UK, because the medicine subject is very, very competitive one. For example, like Glasgow, we only accept the international student, maximum only 5 or 6. It depends with the application when it was submitted at that round. So that's the minimum requirement that from the A level. So then we go to next to the IB qualification. So then the minimum requirement around 32 up to 34, that's the minimum. And 38 probably, well, the maximum could be higher, more than 38, then we're happy to accept. So in regards with the English requirement, it will be waived when the applicant or the students has been completed the English level subject, which is equivalent to the English as a first language, with the minimum B. So then the student doesn't really need to have the IELTS or TOEFL test for the application. Personal statement is becoming so important for Glasgow. It will give the different situation when we have the similar profile of the student, especially for the competitive program that the student will be chosen. So then it will give the student have a different background and also added value from what they think about the program they want to apply. Interview is really optional. This only happens when you apply in medicine subject or medicine degree. Once you get the offer, and the next stage will be for the interview to make sure that you are the right candidate into the program. So that's basically about it for the undergraduate level. Thank you.
Okay, and yeah, since you mentioned like the minimum for the A levels and IB students, how about the national curriculum students, especially in Indonesia? Like, is there like how is it looking?
Yeah. Okay. So when the student have the national curriculum, it doesn't mean they can't go to University Glasgow, but unfortunately for the program that's what I would say that quite good ranking in UK subject system like medical medicine, psychology, accounting and finance. We cannot accept the student from the national curriculum. Even we do have the foundation studies here. They need to go through what we call Glasgow International College. Basically, the foundation here is only the name foundation, but it's sort of the same like a diploma pathway, which is you finish your foundation with Glasgow International College, and then you just continue to the second year, third year, and fourth year. The Glasgow University Glasgow having the Scottish education system, that's 4 years duration for the undergraduate. So once you finish your foundation studies, then you just continue to the second year, third year, and 4 years. So that's the national curriculum. Yeah.
Oh, I see. And like for the college itself, so for a national student, they would need to submit their TOEFL, IELTS, and also their grades to attend the college itself, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. And as for the personal statement, is it like similar to other basically other UK universities, like based in the UCAS?
When the student wants to apply for foundation studies, so then the personal statement is very light, not very detailed like you want to apply to direct into the year one University Glasgow. But you need to have a personal statement, which is we want to know about what is your objective to apply for some particular degree and what will be the outcome for having this degree. So this is something that we have to be in control to have the good applicant into our university system.
Yes, that's very interesting to hear, and we will talk about it more for you guys who are curious, I'm sure. And yeah, aside from that, I would also like to ask, like, for postgraduate programs, it is mentioned that if you want to apply for a postgrad in Glasgow, you are required to either have a similar major with your undergraduate major, or you have something you have some kind of work experience in that field that you want to take, right? And yeah, what kind of is there like a minimal of working experience aside from the years of experience, like maybe they have to be in certain roles or they have to be in certain positions?
Yeah, it's always have a good what I should say, added value when you have the experience when you apply to any university. I think not only in UK or Glasgow, it gives the a different perspective when you're writing your personal statement. It can be right when you write the personal statement, especially it will be related with your experience and also the planning on your degree for the next level. But but we do have some program that not required for the work experience, but we always select the student who has the similar background with their S1 or undergraduate level. That's the priority. But if you have the experience not really linked or parallel with your experience and you want to apply for different level, that's your right. So just making sure you can really explore in your personal statement why you're choosing to switch or change to choose the experience that you have, and also to your master degree level. Sometimes the student can see a changing in the trend, changing in the industrial trend, and also in the company objective. That could be one chance and opportunity from different perspective from the students as well. So just explore it in personal statement, that the admission will be look at it.
So it's not really like a closed opportunity that you have to be this, but as long as you can actually explain it thoroughly, right? Like the reasoning behind it.
Yes.
All right. Okay. And lastly, for the letter of recommendation, do undergraduate students don't need any letter of recommendation when they apply to the University of Glasgow?
Well, basically, the school will be automatically giving the student like the reference letter or teacher recommendation or teacher letters for the students. So that's kind of the letters also can be used.
Okay. So so it's only from the teachers only. You only accept it from teachers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Noted for that. Thank you so much, Mr. Alvin, for the answers. And now we're gonna move to discuss more about the University of Sydney's requirements. So Mr. Rico. So maybe I would like to ask similar questions. Basically, like maybe first, because Sydney is very famous for the academics, and I would like to ask, like, is there any hard minimum for the students that want to apply there?
Yeah. So basically, it all depends on which degree that you are applying for. But Australia in general, it's very academic merit based. So meaning to say, as long as you meet the minimum academic requirements and English requirement, then you can say that for non-quota courses, you will definitely get a place. But having said that, with regards to the English requirement, it also depends on which qualification that you are applying for. For example, you will be graduating with IB diploma or Cambridge A levels. Indeed, in that case, English or TOEFL, IELTS test or TOEFL is no longer required for international curriculum like that. But if you're applying for, let's say, with your SAT score, because you are not sure that you will get a certain IB diploma or A levels, then IELTS will take place. So again, there are just a lot of explanations about that. But in a nutshell, if you're coming from an international curriculum, there might be possibility that you don't need IELTS or TOEFL as English proficiency. So you just need to meet the minimum academic requirements.
Okay, I see. So basically, it's very simple, right? It's probably not that simple, but it's academics and TOEFL, IELTS, and maybe for students that would like to apply to use it, but they come from the national curriculum, what would you say the minimum score for their TOEFL or IELTS?
So for national curriculum SMR in Indonesia, we cannot accept SMR for direct entry to our bachelor's degree. So SMR students, if you want to go for direct entry to University of Sydney, you will have to sit for SAT. plus the IELTS. Again, the SAT requirement and the IELTS requirement will depend on the course that you're applying for. For example, if you're applying for, let's say, Bachelor of Engineering Honors, it requires SAT of 1210 out of 1600 and an IELTS of overall 6.5, no HML less than 6. But if you're applying for, let's say, Bachelor of Commerce, it takes higher SAT, which is 1350, and the IELTS is 7.0. Again, it depends on which course that you're applying for. But if you're coming from SMR, and you don't have SAT with you, you will have to do what we call pre-university program or foundation. So you have to take a foundation program for at least around 4 to 5 months before you can progress to the university bachelor's degree.
So it's very similar to University of Glasgow, yeah, but it doesn't take a whole year for the foundation program.
Yeah, because our foundation program is, after finishing the foundation program, it still goes to first year. So this is not the diploma program. So meaning to say, after the 4 to 5 months of pre-university program, students will progress to first year university, not to second year.
I see, I get it. All right, and yeah, so the next question would be about the personal statement, because I know most of you guys or the audience here would be really, are really curious on how to get the study grants, especially if you want to apply abroad, right? And here at the University of Sydney, if you want to apply to for a study grant, you must submit some kind of personal statement. So first, maybe I would like to ask, how do you apply for these grants? What's the process like? Do you apply first and then the admission officer notify the student like, hey, you're eligible for study grant, so you can submit a personal statement for it? Or do you submit it, applying it along with the university application?
So it's actually when you are in the application portal of University of Sydney, because our study grant is only eligible for certain nationalities. So Indonesia is actually one of them. So when you select that you are Indonesian as your citizenship, the system will automatically progress to the next page that you are eligible for the study grant. In that study grant page, you need to attach personal statement. So that is why all applications from Indonesia, we always encourage students to do personal statement first if they want to be in the study grant process, because the study grant, we can say that you definitely will get it as long as you meet the minimum academic requirement, the minimum English, as well as you make a personal statement. You definitely will get a 20% study grant from University of Sydney for the whole duration of your course. So if your course is 3 years, every year you're gonna get 20% deduction from the normal rate for the whole 3 years. But if your course is 4 years, then it's going to be 4 years. So again, for the personal statement, we always encourage students to do it first before they submit an application, because aside from the academic result, English result, and passport as identity, the fourth document that we require for application is a personal statement. So when you get an offer, you will automatically get the study grant already 20% from the normal rate.
Yeah. So yeah. Then again, as we have talked, then maybe it's not that simple, right, to get into the USIT, because if you don't meet the academic requirements, you don't meet the IELTS, then you cannot get into it, right? Because it's very different with any other universities, for example, like the US, which have a more holistic application, right?
Yeah, so that's our main difference, I guess, because as I mentioned earlier, we are very academic merit based. So the first thing that you have to meet is your academic. So that's the first thing. And then as Angel, you mentioned that if you don't meet the minimum requirements, it's not that we cannot accept you. Definitely cannot accept you. It's just that there might be other alternative course that you want to apply for. For example, if you're applying for Bachelor of Commerce, it requires let's say IB 36. However, your IB is only, let's say, 32. Okay, so in that case, instead of doing Bachelor of Commerce, we usually will advise you to do Bachelor of Economics, because economics, it only takes IB 31, for example. So there's always a way to get into the university, but it's just that for certain degrees, we have set a minimum requirement. So if you don't meet that minimum requirement, we will always give alternative courses for students.
Definitely. So yeah, this is also one of the main points, right, for our audience today. So if you really want to apply to these top universities, even though it seems like it's simple, it's just grades and IELTS, but apparently there's like a very, I would say, like a hard minimum for it, right? So it's very important for you guys to really start preparing early from high school, and especially to meet the academic requirements. For example, here, if you want to apply to the University of Glasgow in the major for computing science, for example, as Mr. Alvin has also mentioned before, there's a level hard minimum, like you have to get the triple A or A and ABB, and also you have to take the A level mathematics when you were in high school. And as for the IB standard entry requirements, you must meet at least 34 or 30, until 38, and you must take the HL mathematics, analytics and approaches classes when you were in high school. And yeah, and if we also want to look at the University of Sydney, see here, you can also check in their website later on. There's also prerequisites if you wanna go for some majors, like you have to take the mathematical prerequisites for IB and GCEA levels. Yes, Mr. Rico, please.
I just want to explain about this. So
Yes, please.
these prerequisite subjects only apply if you are taking high school in Australia. So if you are taking high school in Indonesia, you don't have to worry about these prerequisite subjects. So good news for audience, if you are taking IB A levels in Indonesia, we don't have any prerequisite subjects. So whatever subjects you take, Math AA or AI, HL or SL, as long as you meet the total IB requirement, we will not be looking at the subjects anymore. So again, the one taken from the website, University of Sydney website, is only applicable for students doing high schools in Australia. Okay?
Okay, noted for that, Mr. Rico. Thank you so much for the clarification. But still, guys, you still, despite not having to take prerequisite classes, you still have to meet the certain grades, right? And that's why it's really important for you guys to prepare your academics early on. So yeah, next we're gonna move on to talk about scholarships, because I'm pretty sure most of you guys are curious, right? So yeah, first, there are several types of scholarships that are being offered. So you can either get the scholarships from the university, or you can either get it from the government, for example, like the LPDP from the Indonesian government, or you can, for example, if you want to apply to Sydney, there's the Australian Award Scholarship. So yeah, I would like to ask first to Mr. Alvin. Especially for the scholarships that are being offered by the University of Glasgow, how do you apply for this scholarship, especially for international students?
Okay, thank you, Angel. Again, basically, Glasgow and Sydney probably have the same similar ground that we're looking from the base result or base of academic merit. But something that's different from Glasgow sites, that's we always look at from the prerequisite entry requirement, the subject selection when student enroll for the particular degree, for example, computing science, they need to have the subject requirement that's already on the website state. So the high level mathematics, it should have with the grade overall 34. If the student got 34 more, then they will be automatically nominated into the scholarship system. So we have 100 slots scholarship every year, and that's given out for the global student who apply for undergraduate degree at Glasgow. And of course, Indonesia always be prioritized for the admission side. Because we always have a little scholarship from Indonesia. I think because one mistake from Indonesian student, they only looking for the overall about the IB or the A level a total grade. They're not looking for the particular subject that the program look at as the prerequisite subject. So be careful with that. Just making sure all the student wants to do international curriculum when they start from the year 10 or year 11, they understand what will be the subject prerequisite for a particular subject at the university they want to wish to apply. So that's a really important message for me. The scholarship will be given £7,000 deduction from the tuition fee every year over 4 years. So it total about 28,000 pounds sterling over 4 years. So that's the undergraduate excellence scholarship.
Great. So yeah, it's very important, right? Once again, to really choose the right subjects when you were in high school. And as Mr. Rico has mentioned before, for Sydney, the study grants is that you apply for it and you submit, especially from your, if you're an Indonesian student, you gotta submit your personal statement during the application process. But for University of Glasgow, do you have any additional requirements? Like the University of Sydney, maybe any additional essays if you get nominated for the scholarship?
We see from the beginning when the application submitted through UCAS. So if we follow the UCAS regulation, then we really need to see all the application, all the applicant really submit all the documents needed by the university and also relevant to the particular degree they apply. So once the UCAS system approve, then we assess the application, then automatically, obviously, the letter offer or conditional offer will be issued by the admission. So that's it. So the next step will be nomination on the scholarship. It's quite easy. So that's making sure that from the regulation from UCAS side, all the students already fulfill all the documents and requirements.
Oh, I see. Okay. So basically, if you wanna apply scholarship for the Glasgow, you just gotta submit it and you get nominated based on the application. So yeah. Next is that since both Mr. Alvin and Mr. Rico has mentioned, the University of Glasgow and University of Sydney is a very academic merit-based university. But first, I think I would like to ask to Mr. Alvin, like, but still, like, are non-academic or extracurricular activities still important and relevant for students who want to apply to the Glasgow University of Glasgow?
Okay, so many students from Indonesia is always active, involved with, especially with the Indonesian activities. But we always encourage to Indonesian students also get involved with the non-academic, for example, from the club and societies that are available in also in University Glasgow. They can also get involved in the research center that related with the subject as well, especially the subject also related with the industrial trend in UK and Glasgow. So when they got some sort of like assignment, is really related with also from the company that based in Glasgow, which is asking for the what would be the best aspect issue that need to be answered by the student. So those kind of activities that the student can also involve with. And we also have the career services as well, which is it's quite good when the student want to have the internship or also partnership with some company. So we have the department is always support for all the students, and and basically we have also the Indonesian Association, what we call PPI Greater Glasgow, which is that's really involved with all the academic activities and also non-academic activities, and involves also with the company that based in Glasgow as well, or probably in Indonesia. So that's basically most of the activities for Indonesia can involve with. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so Mr. Alvin has mentioned before that doing some non-academic activities will also help you during, for your CV, basically, if you want to do internships during your university years, right? And as for University of Sydney, Mr. Rico, do you think that non-academic or extracurricular activities like experiences would be beneficial for, let's say, for students to write their personal statements, especially for the study grants?
So I get this question as something that before students are accepted, right, to the
Yes.
university. So in to get you into the University of Sydney, it, as I mentioned many times just now, is
Mhm.
that academic merit is number one. So meaning to say, non-academic or extracurricular activities will be useful not to get you to the university, but to get you to get the scholarships. So
Mhm.
you can get into the university without any non-academic or extracurricular activities or experience. But if you want additional scholarships on top of the study grant, because study grant is something that you will definitely get, but if you want additional scholarships like international scholarships, we have vice chancellor international scholarships. This will be very helpful. So if you are an athlete, for example, or if you won in Olympiads, or if you won in competitions, or if you are, let's say, you are the president of the student council, that definitely will help you to get additional scholarships, but not to get you to the university. Because to get you an offer, it simply needs your academic and your English. That's it. Okay. But if you want additional benefits from the university, this will be very helpful. I hope that answered the question, Angel.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, that's also another tips, right, for our audience today. So yeah, if you think that, even though the University of Glasgow and the University of Sydney are both academic merit based university, but it is very still beneficial for you to explore and do extra non-academics and extracurricular activities, because aside from it will also give you like experiences, it will also help you to get scholarships in the long run. So yeah, so far we have talked about the requirements, like from the side of the administrations, and next we're gonna talk about the personal statement and the interviews, which are two of the I would say some kind of a more difficult and complicated part of the admission. So yeah, first, as for University of Sydney, first I'm gonna ask like, can you tell us a bit about the personal statement that is required for the study grant?
Okay,
Like,
so
yeah.
for the for the audience, so that you don't get confused, the one on the slide is actually statement of motivation, which is only required for MBA and Master of Management. But for the study grant, in all courses for S1, S2, and S3, there is a different set of questions, and the questions are very simple. There are three questions that you have to answer for the personal statement for study grant, which is the 20% for the whole duration. First question is you tell us about yourself. Number two is what has inspired you to apply to University of Sydney, and number three is what is your dream, or what is your future plan after you complete your degree from University of Sydney. So nothing academic, nothing about your study. I mean, nothing about mathematics or physics, but it's all about yourself. You have to put it in a maximum 200 words per section, and then you submit it together with the other academic requirements, IB or A levels or IELTS and so on. But the one on the slide is actually for master's degree, for MBA and Master of Management, where aside from any other documents, before they invite you for interview, you will need to complete another statement of motivation. So statement of motivation is what you hope to achieve professionally when you get the degree from University of Sydney, and you have to put it in maximum of two pages of personal statement, because this is a requirement for them to shortlist which students to be invited for interview. So because Master of MBA and Master of Management, it requires interview as part of the admission requirement. So two separate things. The first study grant, you just need to answer the three questions and you will definitely get the 20%. And then this one is specifically for MBA or management program only.
Okay. So I think I want to clarify that. So for undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD, you still have to submit the personal statement. But if you want to apply for MBA and Master of Management, on top of the personal statement, you have to submit the statement of motivation.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So so all of the prompts here, it is required for you to answer all of the prompts, right?
Yeah, so the study grant one, the personal statement for study grant, the left side, these are the questions that you have to answer and put in your personal statement when you want to get the 20% for a bachelor, master, up to PhD program.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so as Mr. Rico has mentioned before, so you have to answer all of these questions basically to so that the university can see like what kind of person you are and like your motivation on getting into the university, right? Okay. And yeah, I think that really wraps it about the personal statement and the statement of motivation to get into the University of Sydney. And next, we're going to move to the personal statement for the University of Glasgow, which is also the personal statement that you submitted through the UCAS. So this type of personal statement is actually applicable to basically most of the UK universities. And what you usually put in the personal statement is that you want to explain the major, the pursuit, the skill, and the future plans. So in the first part, major, so you want to tell the university on what major that you want to choose and why. And then the second part is that you continue with pursuit, which is what you have done to pursue your interest in basically your academic interest. Maybe that maybe you can put it in like you've done this research, you've read these literatures, and in the third part, you want to put in the skills, especially skills that you gain from outside of the classroom that might help you once you get into the major. And lastly, you can close your personal letter with a paragraph explaining your future plans or like your motivation after you've done your university years. So, Mr. Alvin, if are there any specific requirements for the personal statement from the University of Glasgow, or do you just follow the UCAS requirements for it?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, what is state on the UCAS regulation about the personal statement is very clear what they really want to see the profile from the application from the applicant itself. But something to highlight about the personal statement: don't make this personal statement too long. Just simply like the University of Sydney, around 200 words or probably 1.5 page. But overall, from the personal statement itself, just make it sure that the admission really understand about who you are and what you plan in the future. Just put yourself in the next 3 or 4 years. What is going to be planned for yourself? What position? What you're going to do? What will be changed? Remember, Glasgow have the word changer wording on the website. So we always looking for the word changer to be accepted in University of Glasgow. So that's the thing that I want to share to the audience, to the students. Just highlight about yourself, describe about your profile, so the admission quite easily know who you are. So based on that, that's really easy for the next assessment and also the scholarship.
Okay, thank you so much for the Alvin. And I think I would like to add there are some tips that you can see here on the slide. You can feel free to screenshot it, guys, if you don't, so that you can read it more later. So yeah, basically here are some of the strategies that you can do when you write your personal statement. And then the next one is that we're gonna talk about what you should not do when you write your personal statement. And then again, guys, feel free to screenshot it. But of course, it's very important is that you don't wanna let some kind of typo or grammatical errors to spoil your statement, right? Because I think it really shows that your lack of attention to details, and also it really shows that you do not read it thoroughly. And yeah, as Mr. Alvin has also mentioned before, just highlight about yourself, but make sure that you don't exaggerate when you write your personal letter, personal statement, I mean. And then, yeah, do not rely on a spell checker. Make sure, if you can, get someone else to check and proofread your personal statement, maybe your teacher, your mentor, your peers. And of course, you have to prepare it as early as possible, because you don't want you don't want it to leave at the last minute. You don't want to make your personal statement seem rushed. And also, I think you really need some time to really think through on what you want to put in your personal statement, so that you can really describe yourself in the best light possible for the admission officers. So yeah, once again, guys, please feel free to screenshot it if you want. And yeah, I think that really recaps a lot about the personal statement. And next is that we're gonna move to the interview. Yeah, first I'm gonna ask to Mr. Rico first. Yeah, as has been mentioned in the slides, basically what University of Sydney wants to look at the interview is that really want to affirm what applicant states on their statement of motivation. So, so the questions will be basically based on what they wrote. Is that correct?
Yes, Angel. And again, interview is only for certain courses, as I mentioned, for MBA and Master of Management only. Not all courses will require interview. And again, the statement of motivation will be the document that the faculty will be looking at before they shortlist which student to be invited for interview. And yes, the interview will actually affirm what applicant has stated in her on his or her statement of motivation. But obviously, they aside from what you are being put, what you put on your statement of motivation, but at the same time, when you're very good in statement of motivation, but you're not good with interpersonal skills or communication skills like this, then it will be the end of the world. Meaning to say, you have to make sure that not only you're good in the statement of motivation, but also you are good also in expressing yourself, find your confidence, how to present yourself, how to, although the interview mostly will take through Zoom like this, but they know, and because they have interviewed a lot of students, a lot of candidates, so they know which students are actually good and which are not that good. So that's why you have to prepare yourself also. But the main thing that will be discussed is mainly what you have put in your statement of motivation.
Great, thank you so much for the tips as well, Mr. Rico. And yeah, moving on to the University of Glasgow, I think this is a really something that has been asked a lot. So we know that the Oxbridge interview is very technical, and they really basically it's like a tutorial class, quote unquote. So is the interview for University of Glasgow similar to that, or do you have any other types of questions instead?
Thank you, Angel. So basically, University of Glasgow only do the interview when the applicant for undergraduate level apply for medicine courses when they want to become a doctor. So once they got the conditional offer, the next stage will be interview. So this interview is very crucial one. The interview could be done at the office of University of Glasgow in Jakarta through Skype or probably Zoom right now, or probably who the student already really keen to apply for this course, he or she probably can go to Glasgow right away and talk with the dean, the program coordinator for this interview. Because one time, one of the student in Indonesia get into the medicine degree program, and she went to Glasgow to done this interview. So, but she's getting now. Basically, it's about it. There is no more interview unless they apply for the MBA program. The MBA program at University of Glasgow is a very competitive one. We do have very small classes. It's about probably 40 or 50 the maximum, and then we run for the class. I think similar to University of Sydney, our business school has been triple accredited. Is that right, Rico? triple credited. Yeah, so not many.
Triple
Yep,
crown accreditation. Yeah.
that's right. Not too many business school in the world. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they are around 1,000 business school, but it's only about 1%. The business school that got the triple crown accreditation, like Uni Sydney and Glasgow. So the MBA program for the University of Glasgow is looking at for the person who has experience in 3 years in the managerial level, which just means they need to already lead some department minimum with 20, 25 or 30% staff under the department. So this is not we looking for the fresh graduate or the management trainee already 3 years afterwards. So we're looking very candidate person or candidate applicant to be in our MBA program.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you so much for the tips and explanation. So I think that really wraps up our section here for the personal statement and the interview. I hope you guys take notes or took screenshots for the tips that we have given to you. And next, we're gonna talk about the education system and the program structure for each universities. So yeah, here are some of the usual education system for the University of Glasgow and University of Sydney. So yeah, bachelor degrees usually takes 4 years, or in the University of Sydney, it took 3 to 5 years. And the University of Glasgow offers a double major. And Mr. Alvin, like how long does a double degree take?
We call it not a double degree, Angel. We call it a double major. So
double major.
Yeah, still doing one degree, but they can specialize in double major. So one's in economics, one in business. Let's say one in business, one in languages or IT or computer science. So that's basically it. Yeah.
Oh, but it still take 4 years.
Still 4 years. That's right. Yeah.
And it's let's say so that it's both for a bachelor degree, so they graduate with 2 bachelor degrees after 4 years.
No, they only graduate with 1 degree with 2 double major.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, I get it. And
So,
is there any like requirements? Maybe like you can only choose this major and this major, or you can freely choose which major you want to do.
Okay, so basically why the student wants to do the double major at University of Glasgow, because they do have some patient that not required for the degree. So the degree that you want to choose here is something that's related to the work experience of the workforce, or they work in the company in the real life. So something that really need to prepare. But the student also have the patient, which is probably the languages. She loves the language of Japanese language, Italian language, or any languages in around the world. So they can choose that subject. They can specialize in subject. So the degree is still in business or management, or maybe management, but the second major will be in languages. So that's basically the student is prepared for the hard skill and also the soft skill. And being the ancient university as well, University of Glasgow also privileged to give the academic title MA, Master of Arts, but it's still equivalent with the undergraduate degree level. It's only proof that Glasgow is part of the ancient university group. So we are allowed to give the people who wants to do the some combination with the arts studies, so they will have the academic title as MA.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you so much. And yeah, as for the University of Sydney, do you have similar system to Glasgow, or is it very straightforward bachelor degrees?
Yeah, so it again depending. I mean, we do have double degree, double major program, just like University of Glasgow. So students, meaning to say, if you are doing a double major program, you're gonna have 1 certificate only when you graduate. 1 degree, 1 certificate. But at the same time, we do offer double degree. What we don't call double degree, combined degree program. Combined degree means when you graduate, you're gonna have 2 certificates. So, for example, you want to do Bachelor of Engineering and Bachelor of Commerce, for example. So it takes 5 years, and when you graduate, you're gonna have 2 degrees. Okay, but at University of Sydney, we are giving flexibilities for students by dividing the degrees into what we call professional degrees. So professional degrees are the degrees that are required by the professional bodies to comply with all the requirements. For example, our Bachelor of Engineering honors, it actually follows all the requirements from Engineer Australia. So when they finish the program, they can register themselves as an engineer in Australia and in other Commonwealth countries. But we also have what we call liberal study degree. So liberal study degree means that students can still choose major. For example, they want to do Bachelor of Science and they want to do nutrition as their first major. But the second major, he or she wants to do finance, which is an entirely different faculty, not in science, but from our business school. That you can do that under the double major program. You still finish within 3 years, but you're going to complete 2 majors, and both majors will appear in that one certificate. So Bachelor of Science in bracket, nutrition science and finance, for example. So still within 3 years. But we also have what we call the double degrees program. So our double degree program is a bit different. For example, students doing Bachelor of Science and Doctor of Medicine, a 7-year program. That double degree program means that students will have 1 degree in Bachelor plus another degree in postgraduate level. So when they complete 7 years, he or she can register himself as a GP, general practitioner or doctor in Australia. So there are a lot of flexibilities, a lot of options, like, for example, the choice of majors and minors. We have over more than 100 majors that students can choose. Students can do, let's say, Bachelor of Commerce in marketing and having a second major in design, for example. Okay, the students are doing a Bachelor of Science in data science and having a second major in Japanese, for example. So there's just a lot of options, because nowadays, remember, as a bachelor degree graduate, you're going to have a lot of competitors. So you need to look at what second passion, what added value that you can give to the company, that you can put in your CV and make yourself stand out than the others.
Definitely agreed with that. And while we're talking in the topics of major choosing, since most non-US university don't have much flexibility in terms of choosing majors, and so far, as far as we know, that there is no choice for students to apply with an undeclared major. Is it possible for students to change their major or faculty in the middle of their studies? Maybe first I'm gonna ask to Mr. Rico first, I guess.
Okay, so changing, there are two possibilities here. When I look at this question, changing majors, it is possible, because with us, University of Sydney, changing major means that you don't change your degree. So the degree remains. For example, I give you the example of Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Finance. So if you just want to change the nutrition or the finance, it doesn't matter, because your degree is still Bachelor of Science. But if you want to change the degree from Bachelor of Science to Bachelor of Commerce, for example, okay, can you do that? Yes. But there is an implication to that. Because why? Because every student registered to a particular degree has to be reported to the Department of Home Affairs, which is the government. So that links to your student visa, right? So if you change your degree, you have to report, and there are certain rules and compliance issues. Like, for example, recently I got a student who changed her degree from Bachelor of Engineering to Bachelor of Science. Okay, can she do that? Yes, but the implication is that because of that, she has to resubmit a new visa application, because the old visa application was cancelled. So again, there are ways to change degree. It doesn't mean that we will not let students change their degree. We still allow students to change their degree after, let's say, 1 year. For example, we have a lot of students doing Bachelor of Economics because it requires lower grade, and then they change to Bachelor of Commerce okay, after 1 year. Can that happen? Yes, it can happen, but there will be implication if you change your degree. But if you only change your major, which is under the same degree, it doesn't matter. You can change as much as you want, but obviously we don't encourage that, because you are not focused on your majors, because to complete a major there are certain rules and certain credit points that you need to collect as well. So yes, it is possible, but we are with implications if you are changing your degree.
So if you want to change your degree, it has more to do with your documentations for the country, right? And as for the major, I assume that that means if you want to change your major, you would have to add maybe some transfer credit, or you have to take more classes, right?
Correct. Definitely.
Okay. And how is it with the University of Glasgow, Mr. Alvin?
Well, basically, there is no story at all, or a story from my side, from Indonesian student side, that they quite easily to change the degree, because normally they will choose very effectively and very carefully about the degree they want to apply for. But excuse me. But again, if you want to change the let's say the major, like University of Sydney, that's also could be happen. The reason why, because probably the undergraduate duration for University Glasgow is 4 years. So it means normally the student at the beginning of the first year, they will try to cover up all up for the different scope, let's say the business, the management, economics, and sometimes in a little bit science program. So they will taking about 4 subjects for 1 year, and then the student will think of whether they can survive for all the subjects or can just drop it at the second year for just doing the single major, or keep the double major but changing the major at the end of the first semester. So that's possible, but again, it need to be supervised by the program coordinator, because at the beginning of the semester the student need to discuss what will be possible graduate for different expertise, and what sort of the industry they want to be the expertise in that field. So those kind of the discussion need to be explored at the beginning of the semester. Then the student can really choose the right subject and also choose the right elective to cover all the package in one very good a package.
I think so. After we talk about this topic, it's very important, right, for the audience today to really carefully choose like which system they want to take, whether they want to take double degrees or they want to take only bachelors, what kind of major they want to really pursue, because as has been mentioned by Mr. Rico and Mr. Alvin as well, there would be some kind of you have to take extra credits, or you have to do some transfer credits, and even in the worst case possible, you have to do redo your visa, like student visa, in terms of the Australian government. So next is that what we're gonna talk about is, after the application process, after you we have already talked about the strategies to get admitted there. Let's talk about what your life will be after you get admitted and you have already transferred there. So so first is that for the University of Glasgow, they have 3 main campuses, and so they have the Gilmore Hill campus, the Garscute campus, and the Dumfries campus. And I think it's one of the campuses, like if I'm not mistaken, like the Gilmore Hill campus is very famous for being the Hogwarts campus from Harry Potter, because it looks just exactly like a castle. So I think Mr. Alvin, is there any campus attractions and what student must see if they ended up visiting there?
Okay, basically, most the university in UK probably will be, well, like Uni Sydney is quite similar. We have the orange building all the time, yeah, Rico. So that's constructed just like that. And that is, of course, University Glasgow is being known as the Hogwarts castle from the Harry Potter movies. That's why the reason probably for the undergraduate students wants to study there. they're spending for 4 years without any hesitation. Okay, I stay for 4 years because I stay at the castle. But something that student can really enjoy from University Glasgow is basically we have also museum at the campus, and also just right behind of the library itself. So the library is also well known as the biggest library in Western Europe, not only in the UK. So that's basically what a student can really get support from. I think most of the campus will have the strong support staff there available to support for anything that student wants to get some information about. For example, that the campus at the Garscube campus, that's the campus dedicated for most of the I think it's animal science where he studies there. So we have a big range there, so the student can really physically study from the day one. What does it look like for the programs when they choose the zoo or animal studies there? Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Great. And as for the for international students, are there any on-campus residents?
Yes, we do have the accommodation just nearby the campus for three the campuses, but mostly the program will be at the Gilmore Hill campus. We have 6 undergraduate resident and also 7 for postgraduate resident, and mostly for the undergraduate student resident. Really dedicated for the first year student, and they will get it the accommodation, so don't worry, we guarantee for that. Normally the student will apply when they got the offer and starting to pay and processing visa. I think it's around July or August. So that's the period of time when the student will apply for accommodation.
Okay, great. And yeah, if you join the University of Glasgow, you also have, student support and career services. They also offer health services, counselors and psychological services, and also career supports for maybe internships, and maybe if you want to look for a job after you're done with your degree. And also for the student community itself, for Indonesian student, there's also the PPI, the Perhimpunan Pelajar Indonesia, and also a lot of other student communities there that you can join. So yeah, next is that for the University of Sydney, uh, it's we already did our research through the website, but I think it's still unclear like how many campuses are there in total.
All right. So we have one main campus, just like Glasgow. We have what we call the Camperdown Darlington campus, which is located just around 5 minutes away from Sydney Central Station. So very conveniently located for our main campus. But we have other dedicated campus, like for example, if you want to do Bachelor of Music. We do have Sydney Conservatorium of Music just beside the Sydney Opera House. So that is actually for music students. And also we have a dedicated campus for students taking MBA or Master of Management, which is just right in the city area of Sydney, in the CBD area. So, but the main campus location is actually located in Camperdown, Darlington. It's just like my background, just like Harry Potter, Hogwarts-like also. But it's a combination of heritage building and modern building. So you can see on the slide, beside the heritage building, you actually can see also modern facilities, just like our newly built Susan Wakehill building. This is actually our newest building for students doing nursing, for example, or health science. So it's a combination of heritage building, but a lot of facilities. Like some students actually tend to ask, why is it so expensive to study as international students in Australia in general? Okay, but I have to say that you get what you pay, basically. Okay, it is expensive. I'm not saying that it's not expensive, but you get what you pay. You get all the facilities, not only the physical facilities like this, but you can enjoy every single facilities as a student. On the slide, these are just a few of them. You have your research center, you have the museum, sport, fitness facilities, bookstore, libraries, whatsoever. Everything is there for you to use as a student. So as I mentioned, you get what you pay. It's expensive, but all the support, not only the physical support, but we also have like the career center, a set of psychologists if you need counseling session. We have doctors on campus. So sometimes students tend to don't look at the other side. They only tend to look at, oh, it's so expensive for the tuition fees, but you actually have a lot of student and student support that you can get as long as you tell us, as long as you speak up, and as long as you want to use the facilities. At the same time, also for the student community, we have over 200 clubs and societies. Okay, we even have a Quidditch club, like the Harry Potter Quidditch, like those Harry Potter lovers, they even build their own club. But what I'm trying to say here is that sky is the limit. So as an international student, studying accepted at the best universities like Glasgow or University of Sydney, maximize your time, because that's only once in a lifetime experience. Okay, you can maximize as a student, you can try to search and explore every single corners of the university that you want to experience while studying there. So in a nutshell, I guess all the support and all the facilities for students are very something that we are very put 100% investment in, something like that.
Okay, thank you so much for the explanation, Mr. Rico. And yeah, for those of you guys who are curious on how much does it actually take for you to live there and go to university, here are some of the average cost that you might spend. And then again, this is a lot of information. Please feel free to screenshot it if you want. Okay. And then, lastly, to really wrap up this session, there's just some tips from us. You have to start your exploration early, as we have mentioned before, because, you really have to, if you want to apply to the University of Sydney, the University of Glasgow, first of all, you really need to, you really want to know what major you're going to take so that you avoid choosing the wrong subjects in high school, and also you really want to choose the right major as well when you're in university. And of course, you also want to build your profile to really build your gain experiences, build your profile to get a scholarship in the long run. And of course, you also want to research your best fit major and the university itself. The last session will be the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please feel free, guys. And actually, we already have one question. Wait. Okay, so maybe another clarification for University of Sydney. Do IB students need to take IELTS for USIT?
No.
Okay, since you already take the IB English, right?
Yeah, so IB diploma students, Cambridge A-level students, as long as your school is run full in English, you don't need to take IELTS or TOEFL anymore.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rico, for the answer. And yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free. But now we're just going to move on to announce the UC mock application CV review winners. For the students that have managed to get their chances to get their profile reviewed by a former admission officer from UC. Congratulations for you guys, Jamie Masilain, Annabelle Iris Elior Hartanto, and Kimiwa Njoto. Congratulations, guys, for winning this chance. And our team will reach out to you tomorrow. So yeah, make sure you're reachable. And next, of course, thank you so much for everyone that have already come to this session. And we would like to hear the feedback from you guys for the whole Edu Fair and or maybe for this session only. So yeah, feel free to scan the QR code here, and my colleague will also help to send the links later in the chat box. All right. And yeah, Next is that I also want to remind you guys of our upcoming programs. We have our Academic Tutoring Foundation Week for A-level and IB students who want to, get better at one of the subject. You can choose one subject and join our Tutoring Foundation Week, and it's all for free, guys. So you can join and register yourself by going to studyroom.all-in-edu.com, and the link will also be available later in the chat box. And lastly, for those of you who are aiming to go to Ivy Leagues or Oxbridge or the UCs or other top Asian universities, you can join our university application bootcamp, and get you can talk with our mentors, with also alumni, and also students that are currently studying there on how to maximize your application for these top universities. Then again, you can scan the barcode here or go to bootcamp.all-in-edu.com. So yeah, I think we have one last question for this session. The last question is for both universities. What is the condition, the learning condition there in terms of COVID-19? Like maybe are the classes held online or the classes held offline? Maybe we can start with Mr. Alvin first. Would you like to answer first?
Okay. It's quite different with the Australia. I think Australia just recently opened the border, yeah, Rico. UK never closed the border. So in 2022 and 2021, we have a lot of the students basically who already applied to Australia, and they just changed this destination into UK and also enrolled to University of Glasgow. But now for the semester 2022, everything will be back to normal. Just a week ago, I was in Glasgow actually, and I can just felt the experience is completely very, very normal. I'm the only one who's still wearing a mask. And so it's quite funny because most of the people in the city of Glasgow especially, they don't really wear a mask anymore, including the academic staff. And I'm quite surprised because one of the meeting that I attended, there are one people actually tested positive for COVID, and they're still attending for the meeting. It's very normal. So just making sure you have the distance measure between us. So it's very normal, Angelica and Angel. So I'm the only one who wearing mask, and I'm the one who really scared and panicked. But I'm looking around from the corner of the room. People just really normal. I don't know what's really happening in Australia, Rico, because I know you also been in Sydney. I think a month ago. That's about it.
Yeah. So for Australia, our borders were open last mid-December, so December 2021, and ever since they remain open until now. So students who actually start their degree in 2022, most of them, Indonesian students, they actually prefer to be on campus already. But because we are aware that not all students can get their visa on time, so for students who are commencing in 2022, we still give flexibility for them to study remotely until the end of the year. So if you cannot fly because of your visa is not yet granted and so on, or whatsoever reason, you can still do an remote studies until the end of 2022. But yeah, just like Alvin mentioned, I was in Sydney in May, and yeah, we look like an alien, wearing mask because we are so paranoid about this COVID-19, while everyone there is they just feel like life is normal. It's not that they don't recognize or they don't know that the COVID-19 is still around. It's just that we just have to realize that we have to live by it, side by side nowadays. So we keep ourselves safe, but it's just that sometimes you just feel, I mean, in the indoor they still wear masks, but outdoor most of them they actually don't wear masks anymore. So cases are still there. I'm not saying that Australia don't have COVID cases. It's still around, but it's just that the symptoms are not that heavy as Delta variant. So Omicron is they said that it's a bit mild. Then I'm not saying for you to take to have Omicron, but it's the symptoms are not that heavy as Delta variant. So students are back to campus. In fact, this Monday, tomorrow is actually our first day of welcome week, which is orientation, and by next Monday is the first day of class for our semester 2 intake. So all Indonesian students, they are very excited. They most of them are already there in Sydney, and they have been posting pictures and photos in their Instagram. Very, very happy to look at that. For the enthusiasm to start the university.
Great. Thank you so much for the answers. And yeah, so we don't see any more questions. And yeah, lastly, I think before we really close this session, I would like to remind our audience once again, even though you're applying to Glasgow, you're applying to the University of Sydney, and even though they're just simply need your grades and your English test, but it is very still important for you to prepare early on, especially for your to meet up the academic requirements, and also to really do explore a lot, do a lot of academic non-academic activities as well to get your scholarship. And yeah, I think that really sums up our session for today. And thank you so much once again for Mr. Alvin and Mr. Rico.
Thank you.
Very pleasant conversation with you guys today, and thank you once again also to all of our audience during the past 2 days of our Global University Fair. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice day, and we hope to see you again in our next Global University Fair next year. Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Stay safe.
Bye, Rico.
Thank you.
Bye, Alvin.